Hi, my name's Ishmael Naylor and today we're going to be talking about good debt and bad debt. What is the difference? Some people think debt is debt. That's not quite true. There is a difference between good debt and bad debt. So, first off, we'll talk about bad debt. What is bad debt? Well, bad debt is any debt that costs you. It's considered a liability. So, an example would be a credit card debt. If you have a holiday on a credit card or you have a holiday which you pay for by finance, it's bad debt. The reason it's bad debt is because you go on that holiday and you've still got the debt. And you've had the experience, but you've still got the debt. And it's cost you more to have that debt because you're paying interest on that debt than if you would have paid for it in cash or if you would have paid for it out of your bank balance. So that's also a bad debt. Another example of bad debt is car finance. Now the reason car finance is bad debt is because you buy the car and you pay for it over a time period, but that car is going down and down and down in value over that time period. So by the time you've paid the car off, it's worth less than you bought it for, on top of the fact that you've paid interest, so you've paid more than you would have paid if you bought it in the beginning at cash. So if the car was £10,000 and you're paying a 2% interest rate, for example, then you're going to be paying £200 a year on top of your £10,000. So after 5 years, effectively, you would have paid £1,000 more, so you would have spent £11,000 on that car. But yet, in 5 years' time, that car isn't worth £5,000. Now, you bought a limited edition car, might be different if it goes up in value. So, an example of bad debt that most people have is credit cards, personal loans, car finance, holidays, and one which people don't consider, a mortgage. A property mortgage for a house you live in is bad debt because you've got to maintain that house and you're not getting any profit from that house. So, what is good debt? Good debt is where the interest from the debt is lower than the profit you're making. So, in other words, if you get a loan at 5% and you invest it somewhere and you make 6%, then you've got 5% to pay back the loan and 1% profit. Now that's 1% profit on money you didn't own in the first place. That's good debt. You're making more money than you're paying in interest. So that's considered good debt. So what is an example of good debt? Well, an example of good debt is, let's go back to the car. Now if you get a car on car finance or you get a loan to buy a car, that's bad debt normally. However, if you then rent that car out as a lease car and rent it out for events or rent it out for days, then you make more money than your loan repayments or the interest on your loan repayments, then you are making money from someone else's money, and that's good debt. The most used example and the most useful way that debt is used is in the property industry. So when you are buying a buy-to-let property, you could buy it cash. So let's use a property of £100,000. Now, if the property is worth £100,000 and you buy it for cash, you would have had £100,000 invested and you, say, make £500 a month. So you make £6,000 a year, because 500 times 12 is £6,000 a year. Let's assume there's no bills for making this example easier. That means that your profit for the year would be 6%. So that means £100,000 is your investment and you're getting a 6% return on investment. So where good debt would come in is a buy-to-let property, not one you live in. Now if you get a buy-to-let property and you put a mortgage on it, that's considered good debt. You can normally get a buy-to-let mortgage where it's 75% loan to value, which means you put £25,000 of your own money in, and you are then getting a £75,000 mortgage. Now your own money is still working the same. Let's take the mortgage side. Got a £75,000 mortgage, and the mortgage is less than 6% interest rate, then you're going to be making money on the mortgage. So if your mortgage interest rate is 4% and you're getting a 6% return, that means from that £75,000, you're getting 2% extra on top of the bank. So that's 2% from the £75,000, and you're still getting a 6% from the £25,000. So your overall profit would be the 6% on your £25,000 plus the 2% on the £75,000, which would equal, effectively, another 2% for every £25,000, which means you'd be making a total of 6% more, so your return on investment would now be 12% on your £25,000. So to put those numbers into perspective, if you have the 6% on £25,000, that's 1/4, then 1/4 of the £6,000 profit would be your profit. So your profit would be £1,500 on your £25,000. That means there's £4,500 profit on the £75,000. Now, if there's a 4% interest rate, 4% of £75,000 is £3,000. So you'd be paying £3,000 to the banks to borrow that money, but you'd be making £4,500. So you'd be making extra £1,500 on the £75,000 from the bank. So you take your £1,500, you take the £1,500 from the other £75,000, you put them together, you get £3,000. £3,000 on the £25,000 deposit that you put in means that you're getting a 12% return on investment. That is good debt. That's how you leverage your money, and that's how you get debt to work for you to become good debt and not bad debt. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, whack that bell notification icon to get notified of videos coming out each and every day for the first week of January.